Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So, in a 228 to 164 vote on last Friday, December 4th, the Democratic-controlled House passed legislation that not only decriminalizes marijuana throughout the country, but it also expunges the records of all of those who were convicted of nonviolent crimes related to marijuana use or possession. So approval of the bill was bipartisan, and it would remove marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act. The bill also places a 5% tax on marijuana sales. It would be used to fund community and small business grant programs geared towards segments of the population who've been most negatively affected by the criminalization of this drug. As we all know, it's been a long established fact that most people typically convicted of crimes involving marijuana use or sales have been those who either fall in the lowest income brackets and or people of color. In fact, the American Civil Liberties Union released a report showing that in regard to marijuana possession, Black people are 3 times as likely to be arrested as compared to white people, even though their rate of usage is nearly identical. So this has definitely disproportionately affected certain segments of the population, and it's perpetuated a cycle of income inequality. It's highlighted a 2-tier justice system in our country. But here's why I really wanted to talk about this, because I'm sure you guys have already heard about this bill. And I've done a complete 180 in regard to marijuana use, because I looked at the data, I looked at the scientific studies and how useful it actually is in regards to treating things like PTSD, pain, even cancer, anxiety, depression, insomnia, and it's irrefutable. It does help. So I had to really change my point of view on whether or not I felt that this was good or bad. And I came to the conclusion that yes, it actually is a good thing. And there's some caveats to that, depending on your age and how it affects your brain and so forth. But what I really wanted to talk about today is that establishment Democrats just proved that they're lying. People like Nancy Pelosi especially proved with this bill and the passage of it in the House that they're lying, because they claim that they don't want to bring up bills in the House that are going to be a waste of time, that they know that can't pass in the Senate, that Mitch McConnell will either bury or that it will be voted against. That's the excuse they use for Medicare for All. They say, oh, we just can't. I mean, even though we have a majority in the House, we can't possibly, why would we bother to bring up a bill for Medicare for All? It's doomed to failure once it reaches the Senate, so it's a waste of time. Well, guess what? Everyone across the board is saying that this marijuana bill is going to fail in the Senate. Yet they did it anyway to signal to their constituents where they're at, what is important to them, what they want to see, or maybe not. I mean, it could be a fig leaf to pretend that they want to decriminalize marijuana, knowing that it's going to fail in the Senate. But Nancy Pelosi won't even take that chance with Medicare for All. She won't even pretend to want to pass Medicare for All. And I think it's because she knows that about 70% of the people in America across the board, independent or even a Republican, but a mass amount of Democrats added to those 2 other groups, brings the numbers to about 70% of Americans who want and like the idea of Medicare for All. And I think she knows that. I think she knows damn well that if that bill came up, the people of this country would rise up across the political spectrum and put so much pressure on lawmakers on both sides of the aisle that they would probably have to put it through. And if there's nothing else that Democrats and Republicans, establishment Democrats and establishment Republicans can agree upon, it's keeping their big pharma and big insurance company donors happy. That is the real bipartisanship when it comes to Congress. So this was just like a mask off moment, because there's no way this marijuana bill, if Mitch McConnell even bothers to bring it up for a vote in the Senate, it has little chance of passing. Even though across the country, all kinds of legislation was voted on in regard to marijuana, and overwhelmingly across the country in this last election, it did extremely well. Even in red states, even in places that you wouldn't expect it to, people said, yes, let's legalize it. It's stupid to make it a crime when it is actually safer than alcohol. And yet, they're probably going to shoot it down. But again, it just shows where Nancy Pelosi and the other establishment Democrats are. They do not want to piss off their insurance company donors. And yes, Joe Biden is one of those. One of, if not the biggest contributor to Joe Biden, is the insurance industry. So of course, they're going to tap dance around it. Of course, they're going to play it down and say that they can't do it. They can't bring it up for a vote. They don't even want to give the appearance of letting those donors down. They don't want to even entertain the idea. And that should tell you everything you need to know. And it's why we need to primary every single establishment candidate across the board, whether it is a Republican or a Democrat. And it's the reason that Nancy Pelosi needs to go. She is the gatekeeper, and she keeps the gate closed when it comes to things that will help American people, but yet it pisses off big money donors because it's all about the money for them. Anyway, guys, as always, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching and listening. I'll talk with you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.